Good morning, welcome back to Bald Feather Bets, guys. So we'll do a quick recap of NFL Sunday, then land our play for tonight for Monday Night Football, and then we have already laid a few plays, all college, for this upcoming Thanksgiving football week, one of my favorite weeks of the year, and we'll go through some of those and talk about a little bit of. There's one line that has probably the most variation I've ever seen in it for the final week in college football in terms of book to book. It's settled in a little bit, but we're just going to talk a little bit about line variation, which I will say I did not take kindly to being called out for giving out a point-shaped line, because every line I've ever given out is absolutely available. I acknowledge that not everyone has access to every single book and opportunity to get the line, so I will do my part in talking about what is available across multiple places, and then what I think you should feel confident and be willing to take a line down to or up to. Stand firm on what I said about how I do my lines, how I give them out, availability, all that stuff, but I will absolutely take it into point that not everyone can get every line at its best point, and we'll talk about what is the spread that you should be willing to take it down or up to. That's fair. That's a fair point. Okay, so NFL Sunday, 26, 15, and 10 on the day, so positive day. We'll talk about the 10 first. So in a way, we were lucky to get out of there with a push, with the Chiefs winning by 3. And another way, we were really unlucky to not get that win. Chiefs won the first down battle 33-10 against the Colts in an NFL game. Chiefs won the yardage battle 494-255. So in a way, we should have won that game going away in a blowout. And then Chiefs got down first and goal at like the 4-yard line, where they would have taken a lead 24-20 had they gotten the touchdown and made the extra point. But they didn't punch it in. And then they had to kick a field goal, which sent it to overtime, and then they got the win in overtime. So, yes, we were down 20-9 in the fourth quarter, so we're lucky to have gotten the comeback to get the push. Game never should even have been in doubt. The big swing there is obviously the Mahomes interception at like his own 4-yard line to the 7-yard line, and then the Colts go up 7-0. That's the big swing. But 10-unit play, disappointed because it was nothing's ever a lock. That one was a decently sure thing. If you guys see me going 10 or more, it's a very strong read, is the only thing I'll say. We've lost 10-unit plays before. We lost one this year with Penn State and Oregon. Yeah, Penn State and Oregon. But we tend to do well in them. So, yeah. Okay. Then looking at the rest of the day, how it played out, big swing for us on the negative side in the morning was Tennessee getting that backdoor cover against Seattle. When Tennessee ran back that punt for a touchdown, I had a feeling, we're probably going to get backdoored in this thing, because it's keeping them around just enough to where they then had an ability to get the backdoor on us, and they did. They scored a touchdown with like a minute left against Seattle to get that cover. I hate that Titans team. I will say this. I believe they're on a 3-0 ATS streak right now. We only on them once out of those times. Good for them, though, for a team that was the worst ATS team in the NFL for a very long time. But probably got lucky to get that ATS there, but they got it. So that was a 6-unit swing, and the fact that it was 3 units lost instead of 3 units won on that last-minute touchdown. Other things in the morning, both of the 5-unit plays hit with Cincy and Pittsburgh. They deserved to hit, too. They were very close games all throughout. Chicago continues to win while being a negative DVOA team. Very interesting. The Lions. Because sometimes, you get so excited that you get a line at like such a good number, and sometimes it just doesn't matter. You have a line at minus 10, closes at minus 14, and quite honestly, the Lions are lucky that they didn't get upset. So sometimes it just doesn't matter on how good you are at getting a line or getting a number or anything like that. Probably the Amon-Ra St. Brown tip ball interception to New York, and then the Jameis Winston turning into Jerry Rice and getting a receiving touchdown, those are probably the big differences there. So not a win there, and definitely one that was a big negative for our side. Outside of that, nothing else of note really in that morning window. I think we ended the morning window 13-9-10. So that Seahawks one was a big swing because it would have been 16-6-10 instead of 13-9-10, but whatever. Then in the afternoon, hit on the Cowboys, really good comeback by them, but they were really never out of that. And that reminds me, I didn't give you guys second half plays on the Chiefs and the Cowboys this week. That's on me. The system said those were both second half plays. We were just already so leveraged on the Chiefs with 10 units and the Cowboys with 5 that I didn't. We're having such a good year. There's just no reason, in my opinion, to risk it. But the system was clear that we should have doubled down or halved down on the Chiefs and on the Cowboys at halftime, and we didn't. That one's on me. I take that one strongly. But Cowboys come back at the win as they should. There was just a lot of mistakes they were making in that opening sequence that let them down 21-0. But they played a better game overall. So that gave us a win there. Cardinals gave us the win due to 2 of the worst coaching decisions I've ever seen back-to-back. So Cardinals have the ball on 4th and 12 in their own territory on the plus side of the 2-minute warning, and they have all 3 timeouts, and rather than punting it away, they go for it. They don't get it. So I'm like, oh, we're fucked because the Jaguars are about to kick a field goal here and take a lead by 6. The Jaguars get it down to 4th and 1. The Jaguars don't kick the field goal. They go for it and throw a bomb to the end zone, which they don't complete. And then the score miraculously stays a 3-point game. Cardinals go down, I believe, and tie it up, which forces OT. So then I'm like, okay, we're still at risk here and the Jaguars get the ball first. They could have scored a touchdown. They don't. They kick a field goal. Cardinals don't score. Our 3.5 covers. Those are some of the worst coaching decisions I've ever seen. The Cardinals should have punted that ball, pinned them deep. When the Jaguars had it at 4th and 1, they should have kicked it and made it a 6-point game so that the Cardinals couldn't have gotten a field goal anymore. They had no timeouts. Both coaches made bonehead decisions. Somehow we ended up being okay. And then we never had a chance in the Saints and the Raiders. I'm gonna have to go and take a look at what our record is betting on Saints and Raiders games this year, but it is not good. And I am sure we will be on the Saints and the Raiders next week. But sometimes, again, you have to pay your dues to be able to win the other games. That's an important facet in sports betting. And then in the evening, 5 units on the Rams. You could say maybe the Baker Mayfield thing, but I think that game was long over before Baker got the sprained AC joint in his left shoulder. So that one was a pretty clear one. So that finishes off. So we were 8-6 in the afternoon then, and then 5-0 in the evening, and then that's what brings us to the 26, 15, and 10 on the day. So positive day. Okay, so Monday Night Football tonight. This is an interesting one because if you had asked me, the reason I waited on this one is I had a feeling that this was ultimately going to be the read and that the read early in the week was wrong. The read early in the week was Panthers, and ultimately what we're doing here is the 49ers. So we are laying the 7 with the 49ers for 3 units. It isn't as strong of a read as last night. Clearly, if there was a little bit of a mixed match on the read as the week went on. You can only get 7 at the purple one right now. Purple one has been good to us lately in terms of lines. So if you were someone who does not have access to all the books, should you feel comfortable taking this over 7? I wouldn't go much higher than 8. If the line at some point pushes above 8, I would completely lay off. I think you're probably fine going up to 8 and still laying 3 units. If you don't feel comfortable going over such a key number of 7 and you don't have access to that one, drop your unit amount. Drop your unit amount if you can only get 7.5 or 8. Don't go over 8. Panthers have been good enough this year, and 49ers have been cardiac enough this year. I wouldn't go much over 8. But if you have access to all the books, make sure you get the 7 because it's still available at the purple one, and then at a few non-major books. Again, if you catch my drift when I say non-major books. Main thing that we're looking at here, though, is this Panthers run defense going up against McCaffrey, Kittle, Purdy with his legs, but just the entire system of San Francisco, and then McVay going up against Canales. Shanahan going up against Canales. There's some history here with that, and we would prefer to be on the Shanahan side of things for sure. It's a little bit of a difficult one because I tend to be contrarian. Most of the public and sharps will be unified here tonight on San Francisco. So the book will need Carolina strongly. And I tend to, it's not how we make our decisions here, but we tend to end up aligning with the book side, but that tends up into aligning with the sharp side, which ends up being what we're on. This is a rare instance where the public and sharps are going to be on one side, and we're also on that side. So anyway, 49ers -7, 3 units for tonight. Comfortable taking up to -8, but it is going over a key number. If you're not comfortable with that, just drop your units, but I wouldn't entice yourself with Panthers at 8. I just wouldn't. Okay. Then this weekend, so we've already made a few plays, 3 on Friday and 1 on Saturday so far. We'll start with the 3 on Friday, and we're doing this because of line movement. In the early window, we're taking Kansas +14 for 3 units against Utah. Utah just gave up 474 yards rushing to Kansas State. They won the game somehow, but they gave up 474 yards rushing. That is a red flag of all red flags that I've seen going up against a Kansas team who does have the ability to move the ball on the ground. Kansas also can't stop the run, so I'm expecting a very quick, high-scoring game, but we'll see what happens outside of that. On this one, because there's most books are at 13.5 at this point. There's already some 13s out there. You should feel comfortable taking this one down to 13 if you can't get 14, or even if you can't get 13.5. If you want to wait, you can, but do not go under 13. There is a chance if you're at 13.5, your book will hit 14, because there's multiple 14s out there. So if you're at 13.5 and you want to wait, that's fine, because again, coming off of 13.5 to go down to 13 is not a big deal, because you just came off of a win and went to a push, so it's not a problem. Do not go down to like 12.5. If you see it trending that way, if you go from 13.5 to 13 and you were waiting because you wanted to get to 14, just cut your losses and take the 13. If you're at 13.5, you want to wait to 14, you get it, snag it as soon as you see it. Because a lot of this is another one where a lot of these books, they'll touch 14 only for a little bit, and then they'll come back down. Okay, this next one, Georgia Tech and Georgia. So this is a 5-unit play on Georgia Tech. It's Georgia Tech +14 for 5 units. There's already 12.5s out there, so I doubt that you're going to be able to get anything above a 14. I know there were some 14.5s earlier today, and I missed them. I couldn't get them either. The fact that we're already seeing 12.5s out on the market, this is the same thing as the last game. You're comfortable down to Georgia Tech plus 13. If you're already at plus 13, do not wait any further, because there's an indication that your book is going to come down to Georgia Tech plus 12.5. And that's the one that you can't go down to. If you're one of the people who still has a book at 14.5 and you can get it ASAP, because that thing's coming down. There's a couple of 13.5s and there's a couple of 14s out there, so it just depends on where you're at. Do not go down to 12.5. This is a 13 hard stop only. Snag it if you have 14 or 14.5. If you have 13.5, you can wait and see if you touch 14. But the second your book hits 13, snag it, because there's a risk that you're going down to 12.5. And if your book is at 13 and you can't go anywhere else, snag it at 13. So Georgia Tech plus 14 for 5 units. Texas plus 3 for 10 units. This will probably be one of the favorite plays of the week. There's a hard stop at 2 here. If you're at 2.5, that's fine to wait to see if you get to 3, because there's multiple 3s out there, so there's actually a decent chance you will get to 3. But this is a hard stop at 2 because of a couple things. So this is a wrong team favored game by pretty much any model that you would see. My model, FPI, like even very widely available models, Texas should be favored at home in this game by a half point or whatever. So wrong team favored. But the reason you have a hard cap at plus 2 is 2 has become such an important number in college football due to the overtime situation. So after double overtime, then it's a sudden death 2-point conversion back and forth. So if you have a team plus 2 and it hits that 3 overtime or more, which in a game this close and a spread this close, you always have that opportunity, then you have no way of losing your bet unless the opposing team has the ball first, they score a 2-point conversion, and then they get a defensive touchdown for a 2-point conversion going the other way on the other try, which obviously we're at very low odds of that happening. So you have a hard stop at Texas plus 2. You're fine for 10 units. If you're at 2.5 at your book and you can't get one of the 3s that are out there, wait, see if it touches 3. The second it goes down to 2, though, grab it, because it is a wrong team favorite situation and sharps may push this thing even further down than 2. Okay, Saturday, Pittsburgh plus 7 against Miami for 3 units. As of about 20 minutes ago, there were 2 7s available left with major books. There's actually a lot more 7s left with non-major books, which was weird. That was the same thing on the Texas 3 thing. There's actually more 3s available on non-major books than there were on major books, which that's always an interesting thing when that happens, when offshore is on a number we like more than the major ones. That's very, very strange. But anyway, yeah, there was a lot more 7s available with offshore than there was with major books for Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh plus 7, 3 units. Don't go past 7. Do not take 6.5 on this one. Make sure you stick with the 7 for Pittsburgh. Similar reasons why we're on them against Georgia Tech: run defense, and then ability to pass the ball. I think Miami's pass defense is a little bit of a paper tiger. I just haven't really gone up against that good of quarterbacks this year. And Pittsburgh is at home. Weather will be a factor in this one. We like the Panthers here. We like the Panthers for sure. All right, guys, that's it. I'm getting out of here. Enjoy your Monday Night Football. Let's go 49ers. And again, we're on 49ers -7 for 3 units. Everyone have a great day.